Hi all, Dimitri is here. Welcome to my next video about AA battery testing. As you can see, today we will test various Duracell batteries. I got lots of them, different sorts. It's all different sorts that I can buy here today in Poland. And we have here rechargeables, we have normal alkalines, including industrial variants of Procell and Procell Industrial Intense Power, We have some special. It's Duracell OEM, not for retail sale. As you can see, they have slightly different bottom, so slightly different form. Let's check how do they work. Also, I have 4 used old rechargeables. It's green Duracell rechargeable, 1300 mAh, just like here. But difference is this one is new, obviously, and this one is made in China. And this is Japan made. Also, I have here Duracell Simply. This one is this pack is really old. It was in storage for maybe 2 years at my disposal, so I bought them and forgot about them. And I have a fresh pack of Duracell Simply, so let's check how prolonged storage affects the capacity. Also, I have just normal Duracell, nothing special, just Duracell. I have Duracell Professional, and I think here we have possibly first pure marketing without technical differences, because if you will carefully look at the batteries itself, here and here exact same prints, and looks like exact same batteries inside different packs. What makes these ones professional? I don't know. But we will test them and see if there's any difference or not. And here I have Duracell Ultra with power tester. They say it will be 20 times longer than something. I don't know, let's check. And we have Duracell Optimum, 30 times longer. So just for me it probably means that these ones should work twice long as these ones. I'm not sure actually, because this is same alkalines. Yeah, maybe not the same, maybe this will be better, but it's still alkalines, it's not lithium. So this looks really interesting. Let's test. And I have this Duracell Quantum. I bought them on eBay. You cannot buy them here in Europe, but you can buy them in US. So let's take a look what do we have here, because Duracell don't have lithium batteries, but they have Quantum, and they say it's our most advanced alkaline battery. So let's check if they are best of other Duracells and compare them with others and with characteristic of typical lithium AA battery. Actually, it's quite interesting for me why Duracell don't have lithium AA's. It looks strange for me. So, okay, we have a lot of different Duracells. Let's test them. First, let's start with these guys. It's used rechargeables. I bought them with my Pentax digital camera, which I bought used maybe 1 year ago, and I don't know how long they was in service, how many cycles they had, and what misuse they had, maybe over discharges. So I don't know history of the cells. So let's check them.
Here is the raw data for Duracell rechargeables green that is used, and I don't know how long they used. I got them with my digital camera, as I mentioned before. And interesting moment here is this internal resistance graph, especially this part. As you can see, internal resistance is low until very end, but here it begins to slowly grow, and then it grows quickly. At the new rechargeables, it's usually growing at the very end, like only here. But at this old used rechargeables, we got also this part. So internal resistance starting to grow a bit earlier. Maybe this is a way to understand how many cycles these rechargeables had. In other moments they look just normal. They handle load very good, despite that they are used, but they handle 500 milliamps without problems.
Okay, and next will be Duracell rechargeable, new ones, made in China, and capacity 1200 milliamp hours. By the way, it's the same capacity that we had in previous green rechargeables, green Duracells. Let's check what do we have here.
Here is raw data for Duracell rechargeables, new ones, black ones. And this is off-the-shelf data. It's the state how they was when I just bought them. And as you can see, they have pretty good capacity. Not as they should, but about 1000 milliamp hours. So, looking on this, we can make a decision that yeah, they are low self-discharge one, really low self-discharge. And as I told before, internal resistance growing really quickly at the very end, at the very last moment. So they look good and they have low self-discharge. Let's take a look what do we have after recharging. Here is data after recharge, and again internal resistance begin to grow only at the very end, but here we don't have quick growth internal resistance. My device was turned off by voltage threshold, but looks like it was not a full discharge because internal resistance is not skyrocketed yet. Probably we can get slightly more from them, but with such low voltages it's just make no sense. But even here they still can keep they still can handle high loads, because my device measure internal resistance just by applying high load, and it looks on the voltage drop, and this means that voltage drop was minimal. Even here this looks really good.
Now let's start with the alkalines. Let's start with this Duracell OEM, not for retail sale. I got them from my wireless mouse. They was in...
Here is a Duracell OEM, not for resale. We have only 2 graphs, but not 3, because I had only 2 batteries and I don't have a third battery for half amp check, and I decided to perform low current check instead of, for example, 0.2 and 0.5 amp, just because that batteries was with wireless mouse. That obviously a low power device. It can handle, it can have a battery life about a year with one set of batteries. And what interesting we have here is again internal resistance graph. It begins to grow quickly only after 1000 and maybe 700 milliamp hours. So before that internal resistance is quite low, and this looks really good for OEM batteries that should only work with low current loads.
Let's go further and test Duracell Simply. We have two Simply variants in small package that I bought maybe 2 years ago. So it's not fresh, obviously, not new. And let's check from this package. Also Simply, pack of 12, and this pack I bought recently. Both of them are not expired. As you can see, there is a lot of times before it will expire, 6 years maybe. And here I don't see expiration. Oh yeah, 2026. So probably this one is newer than this one. Okay, but let's check them. Interesting that with simply batteries, the batteries is not exactly the same, because here, yeah, here we have Simply on both packages, but on the batteries itself, here you don't have Simply label, but here you do. And interesting that package that I stored a long time ago will expire only at March 29, but this newer will expire at March 26. So I don't know what is manufacturing date, but I guess maybe this one is rated for lower shelf rate than this one's, and this is curious. This is kind of interesting.
Okay, here we have graphs and raw data for Duracell Simply, and I had two packs. This is graphs for 12 pack, and take a look at the internal resistance. It's growing, but it's not skyrocketing, and it stops on 0.12, maybe a bit less, 0.11. Voltage graphs are normal, and as for me, it's more or less good at high loads. We have some kind of plateau here, not exactly plateau, it's inclined, but it's not dropping like a parabola. It only starts dropping here, which is not bad as for me. And here is Duracell Simply for 2-pack that I had for prolonged time. It was a storage for prolonged time. And as you can see, here we have much more internal resistance, maybe because this is really different Simplys, different Duracells inside, but maybe just because of the storage conditions. So this Simply from 2-pack, as for me, a bit worse than previous. Let's take a look at the energy for 0.1 amp, about 2500 for 12-pack, and a bit less or the same for 2-pack. So they have the same characteristics about capacity and power, but they have different internal resistance. Maybe this is because of different storage conditions. This is quite interesting.
And next will be just normal Duracell, and I think with it we will also test Duracell Professional, because they look the same except this professional writing and orange letters here and white here. In all other aspects they look the same. So I think inside of these packages, different packages, we will find exactly the same batteries that will perform more or less the same. So let's check it. Let's visually compare these professional cells with these normal Duracell cells. I will put a dot with permanent marker on the professional one to not mix them up. And now let's try to carefully open it and extract. Okay, here we have a professional one, and let's extract normal one, not professional. Okay, and now Let me focus my camera on the closer distance. One moment. Okay, now it's better. So this one is professional, this one is not. And as you can see, at least from the packaging point of view, they are exactly the same, except professional has expiration date in 2029 and non-professional in 2031. Interesting that this is another type of Duracells, like it was with Simply, that expiration date is in March. So we have different years, but we always have, for now at least, expiration date in March. It's kind of interesting. So it looks like professional and non-professional ones are the same, but let's test them on my battery tester device and see.
And here we have raw data for normal Duracell. I put normal here because it's just Duracell. It's not something Duracell like a Professional, Ultra or something. It's just Duracell. Here we have some anomaly with internal resistance. I don't know why. Maybe it's something in the battery, but maybe it's something with the connection. But we got the graphs, we got the characteristics, and let's compare them with Professional. As I told before in the video, they look exactly the same, but they have different packaging. And yeah, we have a slightly different internal resistance graph. Maybe it's because I had some problem with connections, but from the voltage and power graphs, power and capacity graphs, fast for me, they look the same. What do you think? Please write in the comments. But okay, we will compare them at the final comparison table, but for me they look maybe not exactly the same, but pretty similar. But they have different packages, different brandings, but inside looks like they are really close to each other.
Okay, next one will be this Duracell Ultra with power check strip. Let's firstly open the package and look at the cell. One moment. So yeah, here we have Duracell Ultra, same signs, but we have also power check here, and like it was with the previous cells, again expiration date is March of 2031, but it's again March. Let's try this power check. We have two dots here and actually heating element here, and this strip is liquid crystals that will change the form, change their state when they get heated. So if you will heat this with some external heat source, it will also change the color. And when you press these two dots, this heating element is just connected to the battery, and it gets heated, and these elements change the color. Actually, this is quite simple, and I like to see something like that on the rechargeables, but no, this works only because battery change its internal resistance with discharging, and when battery is discharged, internal resistance grows up and current through this resistor heater goes down, and it has a triangular form. It's narrower here and wider here, so current density is different. And when current drops, here we have lower temperatures that at the bottom, and because of that we have different readings when battery is draining. But this works with alkaline, but this will not work with rechargeables because the internal resistance are quite low until they fully depleted. So it will show like battery is full, and then it will suddenly drop to 0. Okay, so let's check them on my battery tester and see what we have here.
Here we have graphs for Duracell Ultra raw data, and as for me, these graphs are more or less the same like we had with previous Duracells. So let's take a look at the final table when we came to this, but for now I don't see something extra here.
Now let's check the Duracell Quantum, our most advanced alkaline battery, like Duracell said. As I told before, they are not available on the European market, so I bought them on the eBay. Let's take a look what do we have here. They come with the same power check like Duracell Ultra, so it's actually just a resistive heating element. And oh, and again, expiration date is March 28. They are red, and as we know, red goes faster, so probably they will work better. And I see some some pictures there under the wrapping. I don't know what is it, but like we have something there, and we have this inconsistent, this black line is like banded here. I don't remember the same on the European cells, and we have like something like some particles, some dust under the wrapping, so it's kind of interesting. Looks like they should be a premium, but I have feeling like this just Chinese cheap counterfeit. Okay, let's try this power check. Okay, it works and it has different colors. As you remember, when I tried it at Duracell Ultra, it was just yellow strips. Here we have different colors. Nice. We have a slightly different bottom. We have signs of welding, and we don't have them at normal, let's say normal Duracells. At Ultras we don't have that signs. Okay, let's check what capacity we will have here at different currents.
Here we have the raw data for Duracell Quantum. It's like a most advanced cell, like packaging says. They sold for American market, not for European. And if you take a look at the graphs, nothing really special here actually. I don't see something special. Maybe internal resistance slightly bigger than we had with Ultras, but let's compare them later at the final table. Just for now, I don't see something special here.
And here we come to most questionable, most interesting part of our review. It's Duracell Optimum. It's a new cells that came in pack of 4 or 8. They cost really a lot, and they comes into heavy and big packaging. But do they really better than other? Let's take a look what we have inside this packaging. We have these open strips. Pull it and oh, we just bought alkaline batteries. It's a disposable, cheap, should be cheap power sources, but we have really premium packaging. It comes with two pockets. Each pocket have 4 cells, and here we have marking what this means, that if plus on the left side it's a new battery, but when it comes to end of service life, when it's used, you put it like that, so you can see which are new, which are not. I don't know if somebody will use this, because when I use some batteries, I put them in special box that I will just bring to the shops with recycling stations and drop it out. I never put them back in the package where they are. Let's take a closer look at the battery. So, what do we have here? Really small sign Duracell. Mostly it's just black, and I don't know if you can see this, but it's like it's a ribbit. Only black part of ribbit. This one is smooth, but this part is kind of ribbit. And it's actually nothing else here. We don't have power tester. We don't have anything. It's just a normal cell. By the way, expiration date, I don't know if you can see this or not, is again March 31. Well, let's test them and see. Maybe they will show great results, but as for me, it's kind of stupid. We have just alkaline batteries with this, I sure, this expensive packaging. Again, just my personal opinion that this is much better. It's a lithium batteries. Oh, sorry, let me focus. It's a lithium batteries that comes in just a wrap packaging, super cheap, but I believe that lithium batteries will always better than alkaline batteries. So for me, cheap lithium is always will be better than expensive, good packaging alkalines. But again, it's just my opinion. From sales point of view, yes, this packaging is super good, super premium looking. Maybe people will look at this and think, okay, I need this, I will buy this. Okay, it's more expensive, but with that packaging, it just can't be bad. It will be really nice batteries. Again, as for me, it's kind of meaningless. But okay, let's test them on the device and see what capacity we have here, what energy we have here.
And this is graphs for Duracell Optimum. There are our data for Duracell Optimum, and this is quite interesting. As you see from the voltage graph, at least at the low current, at the high current, this graph's just like a straight line, which is actually not bad. But here, with the low current, we have like two parts of the graph with different behavior. Here it's like curved up here, or maybe almost a strange line. And here we have something like parabolical drop. So it seems like something changes inside the battery here, and you see this power curve is slightly bended here, but almost straight and bended down here. So it's quite interesting. Something happens at middle of discharge inside the battery. From the voltage perspective, we look. It looks like here at the very not very beginning, at the first half of the discharge, the voltages are slightly bigger than usually. Actually it's bigger than 1.5 volts. It spent some time at 1.7, 1.6 volts. This is actually interesting. Maybe it will work slightly longer in your device. At least at this part, it will produce more power. So yeah, at the very beginning, at the first half of battery life, it will it will produce more power. Here, no, here it looks like normal alkaline. From the internal resistance graph, you also see some changes here. Before this point, we have like a straight line, and then something changes. So it's interesting because it's not quite typical for the alkalines. It have some secrets for sure. Let's compare it with others at the final table, but yeah, it's interesting.
And now let's check last batteries in this video. It's a Duracell. One moment. Duracell Intense Power for high-drain devices and just Duracell. It's a kinda interesting packaging, utilitarian packaging, nothing useless. It's just cardboard package with expiration date. Again, it's March. For some reason, at all Duracell's expiration date is March 2027. And here we have something interesting for professional use only. Please write in the comments under this video what makes battery usage professional, if you know. I don't know with what usage is professional and what usage is normal. So here we have two sorts, one for high-drain devices, one not. Let's take a look what do we have inside. And inside we have batteries. Nothing special. But we have not normal Duracell, we have Duracell batteries. For professional use only again, made in Belgium. Nice. It's kind of different bottom form, a bit different, but okay. And let's take a look at the Intense. So yeah, here we can distinguish easily red one and gray one. It's not like with Duracell Professional and Duracell Normal, where batteries was the same. Here they are different. And again for professional use only, but here we can see made in China. So normal Duracell made in Belgium and Intense made in China. Why it's like that? So Belgium cannot make batteries for high drain. Belgium can only do weak batteries, or what? Why some made in China? Why not? Sorry. Why some made in China and some in Belgium? It's really questionable for me. But let's test them at my battery tester machine and see what we have here.
Here we have raw data and graphs for Duracell, the Duracell sub-brand for professional use. Actually, I don't know what makes usage of the batteries professional. Please let me know in the comments if you do. But as for me, it's like normal alkaline graphs. Let's take a look at the Duracell Intense for high drain devices. About the same, but maybe with normal Duracell, not Intense. We have an even slightly lower internal resistance at the first half of the discharge. Because here at Intense... wait a second. Maybe not a big difference here. Yeah, but at normal Duracell at the very end we have slightly lower values. So I don't know why Intense should work better at the high drain devices, but let's compare them at the final table. Maybe there are some differences with capacity and power, especially at high currents. Let's compare. And here we have a final comparison table. As you can see somewhere, like here in Duracell OEM and here in Duracell Simply 2 packs, we have only 2 bars just because I had only 2 batteries. But for Other batteries, we have 3 bars. Bars is coded with color according to discharge current. And let's take a look what do we have here. Again, this is only capacity, it's not about power. Here we have a leader with Duracell Optimum and Duracell Quantum actually goes almost like Optimum, but just slightly lower capacity. And Procell Intense, Procell Intense have higher capacities at all current than normal Procell, and almost like with our Optimum and Quantum. So maybe Optimum is the first one, Quantum is the second one, and third place goes to Procell Intense. This is interesting, but that used old rechargeables made in Japan, Duracell rechargeables green, have slightly bigger capacity than we have at new rechargeables made in China. And Procell green, we have almost the same capacity at the different currents and really really small drop at the high current. But here we have a higher drop at the high current. So looks like old Japanese rechargeables are in the better shape than new ones. Maybe new ones need some cycles to warm up. I'm not sure. In other moments, as for me, just from capacity point of view, interesting moment is here. Duracell Simply and Duracell Ultra. Simply is really cheap and Ultra is much more expensive. And if you have low discharge current, they almost the same. So you should just buy Duracell Simply and you're good with it. And with higher currents, yes, with 500 mAh, Ultra will be better than others. So what we can see here, from current perspective, from capacity perspective, if you have something with low discharge current, you should buy just cheaper one. You should buy cheaper Duracell and it will be good. Because yes, Optimum will provide you slightly bigger capacity, but with what price? For that price you probably can buy 2 or maybe 3 simplest Duracell Simply. And of course it's not 2 or 3 times difference. But if you have high current, here probably you should buy something more expensive, just if you don't want to change your batteries really often. But again, difference is not so big, difference maybe about 25% maximum. So maybe it will be wise to just buy more Duracell Simplys than one good, powerful but really expensive Optimum. Let's take a look at the energy comparison now. And here we have a slightly different picture. Dropping in energy for all batteries except rechargeables. Dropping is really significant with increasing current. And again, there are the difference. There are difference between Simply and Optimum. Optimum obviously better, but not too much actually. For maybe 20%. So yeah, Optimum is best Duracell battery. Other more or less equal, maybe Quantum slightly better than others. Then we have Procell Intense, then we have normal Procell and all other flavors. But again, this difference is not 2 or 3 times. It's slightly bigger energy in Optimum than in Simply. But if you can buy 2 Simplys with price of one Optimum, probably it will be better to just buy several 2 or more Simplys and just change them when they will end of the energy, just because it's not too much difference. Let's take a look at the internal resistance comparison. And here we have really interesting values. For some reason, I'm not sure why. We have lower internal resistance in Duracell Simply than in Optimum. This means that Simply will handle short peaks, short bursts of consumption better than Optimum. It showed at least. And normal Duracell showed even less values. Better only rechargeables. Because yeah, rechargeables always have low internal resistance, and here we have high internal resistance at the end stages of discharge for Duracell Green, because they are old. So we can see how rechargeables aging and how their characteristics changes over the time. It's a quite interesting graph as for me, and as you see, OEM Duracells that not for resale, that optimized for devices with low current consumption, it has really high internal resistance. So yeah, they optimize it for low current devices. Yeah. From posers, you have this picture. Again, I think it's better to buy two simplest Duracells or maybe normal Duracells, so it will be cheaper, instead of one Optimum. Because yeah, Optimum are good, have higher capacity than others, higher energy than others, but also really higher price. So thanks for watching. I hope you find this video interesting, and let me know in the comment if I need to change something, if you interested in something, and you have some questions, please write them in the comment. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.